So we're here to solve this star battle by Jonas Gleim called pluses. For 4 plus shapes, there's this big plus shape and then these 3 smaller plus shapes. And if you haven't run into this pattern before, the plus shape will always have 2 stars that point together, either up, down, or left, right. And one thing I'm noting is that there's some communication across these plus shapes. Certainly the vertical from this one is going to force a horizontal here, force a vertical here, force a horizontal there. But it actually looks like the bottom two may be a little more connected. So let me sort of color why I'm saying that. If this is horizontal only, it eliminates this cell and makes this horizontal only. And if this is vertical, then we can't have this be horizontal, horizontal. It puts 3 in the row. So this is then also vertical. So these stars work together. And if we then take that one step further, that the vertical points in here and forces a horizontal, and that the vertical over here forces another horizontal, says that blue is not the state of the world, green is the state of the world, and the star of this grid looks to be marking these 2 pluses in this way. So the communication across pluses is very strong, and worth noting as we just did. We've got one more star in this column plus one more star, it looks like, in this region, so we'll always be completing this column by 1 star here. We've got still some other constraints. We have like these 6 cells here that will take a spot. If this ends up being a star, we're going to force 2 stars over pretty quickly. So it looks like there's some tension around these stars to resolve. And let's think about some of what that might actually mean. One thing I think is we're seeing is first, actually this cell and this cell can't be taken. So if this is taken, it cancels this star position because of 2 in the column, and also this because of being adjacent to that star. So same thinking applies here. So we get down to having these options. And if I take the double horizontal route here, then I take 2 stars vertically here, and I'll have to put a star in here and use this star. And otherwise, I've got the vertical option, which puts a star in here. 2 verticals would force 2 stars here, including the star I just marked. So I think these cells can't be taken. They would eliminate too much from the space. That's now making this whole area look pretty compact. And one consequence is probably going to arise if I now look back at this horizontal option. That's going to force off all these cells. It's going to force these to be the stars. And now where this whole row is eliminated here and this is eliminated here, we can't get 2 stars in this region. So the horizontal option in this upper right plus isn't possible. So it takes the vertical option that marks off these, finishes this column. In putting those in, we still have now constrained this space pretty well. And it looks like there's actually, let me just propagate some stuff we knew. We had these 2 forced in this region. That moves this over to here. That leaves just these 3 cells in this bottom region, which will complete that whole row. We've got a star here in this region, a star there in that region to get the 2 stars placed, but this row is finished. So that star moves down. So we're going to have 1 star over here and a last star in this space. We have finished a column, so we'll mark that in, and that actually puts a star here and a star here in this region. That cancels off this cell, and it looks like we might have a elimination. So this star has 1 more can go in this column, but we'll have to take this to get 2 in the whole region. So we put that in, that finishes this. It puts a star here. This column is completed by the region below, so this region needs a star here. That finishes this column, marks off this cell. These go in like so. That puts in these. Last star for this row, but necessary to get 2 in the space. This now, with 1 star below, can't be used, so this is necessary for that space. We've got a star here and a star at the top, but that moves one down, and the last place for a star will finish the grid there. So pretty good star battle. The pattern of pluses definitely forced the early steps, and the interactions later on, basically getting none of the pluses to really point into this space. So vertical here and horizontal here both proved to be too limiting for this big plus shape. These deductions got us really through the meat of the solve, and then working through the smaller regions, particularly as we marked off other cells, got us to the one answer. So thanks, Jonas, for the puzzle. Thanks to you for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon.